everyone, and welcome to Up the Turnpike, your New York Islanders podcast and now a YouTube channel. The podcast is on Patreon. Go sign up now. You get 2 podcasts per week, hour-long podcasts twice a week, plus. There's so much going on the Patreon. Sign up now. In today's video, we're looking at trades made within the Metropolitan Division. Now, not trades made by the New York Islanders, but by their rivals, and let's see how it impacts the New York Islanders. Now, the first trade we're looking at is the Washington Capitals traded for Pierre-Luc Dubois. They brought in Pierre-Luc Dubois and sent over Darcy Kemper to the Los Angeles Kings. It was a 1-for-1 swap, no money retained, no picks, just 1-for-1. And it was a head scratcher. Just in and of itself, right away when I tell you the names and you're going, he went where? To Washington? Why? Which we'll dissect in a second here. I think the only reason Washington's like, I'll take some of that, is that he is 25 years old. Let me just check his birth date here. He is indeed 25, although we'll turn 26 in a few days. So there's that. He will be 26 years old, so not super young, but young enough. And he was a former 3rd overall pick. So I think that's why they look at it. They also probably look to the fact that he had a couple of 60-point seasons already. Just here you can see with Columbus's second year, 61 points, 27 goals, and had those 2 seasons in Winnipeg where he scored 60 and 81, and then 63 and 73, scoring 28 and 27 goals. I think that's what Washington is looking at, saying like, well, if we can get that and maybe plus, because he's only turning 26 in a couple of days, we'll have found some value. But then there's so much more to consider. Like just the fact that he wanted out of 2 markets already, and he was in Los Angeles for 25 seconds, basically, and they kicked him out of town, right? He wanted out of Columbus. They sent him to Winnipeg. He wanted out of Winnipeg, even though he's played his best hockey statistically there. He wanted out, got moved to Los Angeles, and was hot garbage. 40 points in 82 games. It's still good. It's much better than I'll ever do. But like relative to the rest of the league, that was really, really bad. So much that that Los Angeles wanted him out, clearly, before this no move clause kicked in of his. And you'll see not only the no move, but the monies that they'd be owed. That's why they wanted him out. A 40-point player looking to be paid, not even looking, but will be paid. Just wait for it. $11.2 million this year. Look at that number. $11.2 million is what Pierre-Luc Dubois will be paid this year. Next year, 11.3. The Washington Capitals said, I'm okay with paying $11 million this year and next for a 40-point player. Maybe 60-point player. Maybe. Even if he goes up to an 80-point player, that's not $11 million worth. $11 million is a big number, and he's only in year 2 of that 8-year deal. Why in the world would the Washington Capitals do that? Clearly they think they can get more out of him. But then you think, okay, where did he play his best? That was in Winnipeg, right? He played his best time in Winnipeg, or the best years of his career so far have been in Winnipeg, scoring 60 points and 27 plus goals. Okay. But he played with Kyle Connors for most of that, like attached to the hip with Kyle Connor. He doesn't have a Kyle Connor-like player in Washington. Look at their top 6. Ovechkin, maybe, but Ovechkin had slowed down considerably. We know that. It was a snail through the first half of the season this year and really picked it up in the second half, but like he's only a year older, guys. He's only a year older. So maybe Ovi can help out. But Pierre-Luc Dubois is not a playmaker. That's just not his thing. Sonny Milano, that's a 40-point player. Alex Protas or Aliaxi, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Nope, never heard of that guy. Dylan Strome, maybe, but that's a center. So competing positions, they probably won't be playing on the same line. And Tom Wilson, that's yet another 40-point player right there. He's averaged 40 points over his last 2 years. He's regressing hard. There's no Kyle Connor on this team. When Pierre-Luc Dubois was playing with Kyle Connor, he was averaging, and still is, over a point per game. That is not, there's no player like that in Washington outside of Ovi, and he's dropped a couple of steps. If this was prime Ovi, maybe. And even then, I'd have my doubts because, again, Dubois is not a playmaker. I don't know what Washington is seeing here, but I saw the funny tweet is like Washington bought Cap Friendly only to trade immediately for probably the worst contract in the league. Yep, they darn done did it. Ridiculous. So I don't know how this is going to help the Washington Capitals, but they're trying to get younger and maybe more skilled. I don't know if they do that here. If anything, Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to be, I don't know. I don't think this helps them at all. I don't think this makes Washington more competitive. I still see Washington games on the schedule as not for sure wins, but a probable 2 points. The next trade was between the New Jersey Devils and the Calgary Flames, where the Devils tried to address their goaltending issue, because that's really the one issue they've got. The trade they made was, again, with the Flames. They sent Kevin Ball and a first-round pick in 2025, so not this year, but next year. That was top 10 protected. For Jacob Markstrom at 31.3% retained. I don't know why they needed to get that number right to 4125, but they did. So they bring in Jacob Markstrom to address their goaltending situation. And as you look, they've got like 3 goalies on the book, although I imagine Kaapo Kähkönen is going to be gone. They have Jake Allen, Jacob Markstrom. And they still have Akira Schmidt as well, somewhere within the organization. Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's do that again. One, two, three, four, five. The second trade was done between the New Jersey Devils and the Calgary Flames, where the Devils tried to address their goaltending problem, which is what they've got, obviously. The one weakness is between the pipes. So they sent Kevin Ball and a 2025 first that was top 10 protected to the Calgary Flames for Jacob Markstrom at 31.3% retained for a 4.125 cap hit. Now, I get why they made this trade, they being the New Jersey Devils. They need a goalie. They had Jake Allen. They had Kaapo Kähkönen. I assume they're just going to let go. Akira Schmidt still needs time, I guess, to mature, although he is 24 years old, so he's getting kind of old. But still, they don't really have a number one goalie. So I get why they went after Jacob Markstrom. That is a likely number one goalie. But he's not the goalie he used to be. Like over the last 2 years, he has an .898 save percentage and a .285 goals against average. Those are bad numbers. No matter how you look at it, those are bad numbers. And by all accounts, defensively, Calgary was better in terms of the number of shots they gave up. It's not like he was facing a ton more shots in the last 2 years versus the first 2 years in Calgary, where he was amazing, right? He had 12 shutouts in those first 2 years. It was a .915 goalie on average in those first 2 seasons with Calgary. In these last 2 years, that hasn't been the case. And obviously he wants out because everyone seems to want out of Calgary, but he has regressed significantly, and he's only that bit older. He is now 34 years old. Turned 34 on January 31st, so he will be turning 35 midway through the season. Still has another year on his deal after this one. Now, I get why Calgary wanted to move him, because he's owed signing bonus money. I'll show you right here. He's owed $2.5 million this year in signing bonus money and next year, plus the whole fact that he wanted out of town type of thing. So I get why they wanted to move him. But for the New Jersey Devils, the thing is that Markstrom, again, is regressing. I don't have a better way of saying it. He is clearly regressing. .898 save percentage and a .285 goals against average is not good. And the Devils allow quite a few shots considering how much of the puck they typically like to possess. So it's not like they cover their goalies in glories. Like they're not helping their goalie a whole heck of a lot. So Markstrom's going to step into this New Jersey Devils squad and try to do a lot of lifting. And maybe he can do it for 1 year. I don't know if he can do it for 2. I still, for the New York Islanders, looking at this from an Islander standpoint, I still worry about the Devils, but that didn't really change much considering they brought in Jacob Markstrom. Maybe he helps a little bit and he stops a couple more goals than they would have normally allowed. but I don't worry about the Devils more now than I did before this trade. It's basically stayed the same. There's still a tough opposition, and if they're healthy, right, when they get a full full season of Dougie Hamilton, they could be a dangerous team. They have a lot of quality. We've seen that year over year. I don't think this makes them more dangerous. At the very least, it adds a little bit of stability, right? Because there's no way they were going to, bank on Jake Allen just doing the thing. So to me, this trade is a big win for Calgary. They get a first round pick, shirts top 10 protected. Who cares, I guess. Next year, it's a deeper draft. They get a defensive prospect who's got some quality. New Jersey wanted him. They got him in the Taylor Hall deal. I think that's a big win for Calgary. Plus, Markstrom didn't want to be around. So, and they don't have to pay $5 million worth of signing bonuses. They just freed up $5 million in straight up cash. So this seems like a big win for Calgary. Not so much as a big win for the New Jersey Devils. So I think, again, the Devils aren't scarier with this trade, but they're just as scary still. So again, check out the Patreon. It's patreon.com/uptheturnpike. Sign up now. Get 2 podcasts a week, plus a Discord channel where we're always talking about Islanders all day, every day. Check it out, please. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. And just thank you in general.